January 16th, welcome back to Edgework. I'm Zack Phillips, joined today by Alex Moretto, Matt Russell. We do got 8 NHL games on the schedule ahead of us here tonight, so we'll get into each one of those, recap last night's games a little bit, give out our best bets for today. If you do have questions in the chat, please make sure to send those along as the show goes on here today. We'll get to answering those as well. But before we can get into any of those topics, before we can get into today's games, I do want to remind everybody that today's show, as always, is sponsored by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is by using multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to help you do so. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props, so you can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Make sure to download the app today. It is available on iOS, Android, as well as on the web. So head on over there, check it out, sign up. You can also track all the picks that we've given out throughout the course of the season. If you did, you would find out that we went 4-7 yesterday and still had a 13% ROI on the day. A couple big plus money winners there between So Money and Alex B. Smith on yesterday's show that allow us to get up to that 13% ROI. It's not just about the record here, guys. It's about the amount of money that's being won, and we're winning some money here on the Edgework show. You'd be able to track all that, but that also helps because we line shop. And if you are trying to line shop and you don't have all the sports books, you can sign up over at betstamp.app/Edgework. You see all the offers available. Signing up through that link does help support the show. It is available in the link. The link is available in the description of the show here as well. But gentlemen, I haven't seen the Tuesday crew in a while. Matt, last time I came on, or I guess after I had come on, I heard there was a cancellation of Kings Tuesdays. What's going on? Are the Kings coming back? Are they getting back into range? Like, what is going on with the LA Kings? That was sad news to me.
Yeah, it's a tough scene over here, Zach. My family and I, we weren't looking to talk about it for a little while there, but it's been a week. Yeah, and I guess it's time that we should probably talk about the Kings the week that they had last week. The 2-0 blowing of the lead against Tampa Bay last Tuesday. That hurt, I'm not going to lie to you, and that stung, right? And then they blew a 2-1 lead against Florida a couple of nights later, getting scored on in overtime with 0.7 seconds left on the OT. And, things are pretty tough, but we're fighting through it. Victory against Carolina yesterday, not last night. So that's cool, I guess. But, could have really used that type of effort, that type of third period effort last week. So, did I speak potentially harshly saying that Kings sold, never again, these sorts of things? Potentially. But you know what? I think there's bigger fish to fry at this point in the division as there's a Canucks jersey that's just kind of creeping its way out of the closet right now. And, it just might be that type of deal where it's like, you know what? The Kings have perished so that the Canucks can fly. They can soar high and they can, maybe cruise their way to a division title here. And honestly, that would fill my heart again, Zach. And that would, replace whatever was lost from last week. With a youthful exuberance that I haven't felt in decades.
You're kind of like the in the Spider-Man movie when the Green Goblin mask is sitting there and he's staring at it, waiting, trying to figure out if he's got to go put it back on. That's you with the Canucks jersey in the closet right now, just deciding whether you're going to turn back to the dark side of the Vancouver Canucks right now. But hey, you know what? I'm happy for you. I'm happy for the child inside of you to have that going on. I know So Money's going to be happy to have you joining alongside him there as well. And I also did see So Money in the chat there saying, smash the like button. I appreciate So Money doing the work for me in the chat there because that's what we need. We need people hitting that like button here today to start the show. Make sure to subscribe here to the channel as well. We are 40 subscribers away from 2,000 here on the channel. Once we hit that 2,000, I don't know why I did it. Matt, I don't know if you caught it. I may have made the mistake of agreeing to go onto a watch-along wearing a Habs jersey for a Habs game alongside Moretto. That's what I do for the chat, though. So, I mean, all the sickos in here, every single day. That's what I do for these people. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're 40 away here.
That's a lesson in life for everyone, because Zach never agreed to shit. I basically just tweeted that out, and basically said he's doing it. And if you want something to happen, you just have to put it out there. And I put it out there, and now it's happening. So I'm very excited for that. I've got an assortment of jerseys I can give to you, so you really have your pick here.
Listen,
Perfect.
It's easier to make Zach say no than have him say yes. You know what I mean? Like it's harder, I guess, for Zach.
It's harder to make him say no. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Point is, it's like, just tell somebody they're doing it, and then they have to refuse, versus asking them, and then they, of their own volition, have to kind of make a decision.
Yeah, it's the old.
I think that's a good rule of life.
I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission, right?
Yeah, it's a cousin.
Right.
It's adjacent. It's adjacent to that.
Yes, it is. Guessing cousins.
Yeah, but I think also the defining factor here is when it comes to myself, when it comes to the show, we hate to lose. We talked about this yesterday, but we hate to lose. Maybe some other teams in the NHL, they don't hate to lose. They like to win. They love to win, but they don't hate to lose enough. We hate to lose here. So 4-7 yesterday. We go 13% ROI. It's a good day, but still room for improvement, and that's where we're going to go here tonight. We got 8 games ahead of us. We'll dig into each of those. I think we've got 6 games covered here that we've got bets in. So for the other 2, we'll review those ones after. If you guys have any other questions on top of that, we will answer those as well throughout the course of the show here today. But let's start with today's games and what we do have. And let's first go to the Colorado Ottawa game here. The Senators plus 104. The Avs on the road here, minus 114. We see a total of 6.5 on some books, but those would be heavily juiced to the over on the 6.5s. So you're mostly seeing a lot of 7s right now. Matt, what are your thoughts on where this Avs team is currently at in the midst of this road trip here, rolling into Ottawa, and what your thoughts on this price are at this moment in time?
You say Matt?
Yeah, Matt.
He's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, Moretto will go to you, and then we'll see if Matt comes back.
This price is wild. Honestly, this price is wild. I think we were talking about it yesterday in our Wednesday chat, and how much respect Ottawa still seems to be getting from the market. And it's happening again here. I get the situations where the Avs are very, very banged up. They got a lot of injuries they're dealing with. They're playing on a back-to-back here, obviously, so they're going to have, backup in net. Very minor travel from Montreal to Ottawa, but tough spot for them. 3rd game in 4 nights on this little Canadian swing, but geez, I can't. It's Avs or nothing for me, and it's going to be nothing here because I can't seriously consider the Senators right now, just the way they're playing. The over is potentially worth a look. You're again, like we said, I keep saying the backup isn't for Colorado just because I don't want to actually say his name because I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but Provestov or whatever is going to be in net for Colorado. Doesn't matter who the hell is in net for Ottawa, for being honest, because they can't buy a save right now. So I would lean towards the under, but again, the fact that the 6.5s are heavily juiced, I have no interest in those. Maybe the plus money 7s, but at the same time, the Avs have been pretty good, a pretty good defensive team, and I know they allowed 3 goals in the first period to the Leafs the other night, and the 4 goals to the Avs last night. But overall, their body of work this season, their body of work in the last month, especially, they haven't been a high event team, so. It's just there's not enough there to get me on this total. And, I'm just sitting this game out completely.
All right, well, I know Matt had some interest in this one. Let's bring him back in to see what that interest was. Matt, we're discussing the Colorado-Ottawa game here.
I can't believe it took that long because, honestly, I missed 80% of what you guys were talking about, even amongst the intro, because I was freezing on my end. It was just, I was getting, speaking of circles off, I was getting circles on everybody's face. I was hoping the connection would rally, and didn't work. I had tons of really interesting things to say about this game. No, most of this was just confusion about what I'm about to do in this game. So Colorado obviously played yesterday against Montreal. They're coming in on back to back. Normally that type of thing is priced into the market here. and I don't really have that priced in this number. And so I have, I think there's 115s on Ottawa, plus 115. At least there was.
I think those are gone here.
Yeah, so there you go. So
Matt moved the market too much.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't bet it because I made the foolish assumption that I could get maybe a better price on Ottawa, because I thought that people would jump on Colorado at a relatively short price at minus 120, minus 125, and now we're sitting here with an even shorter price. So we're getting a little bit out of my range here. In theory, it was supposed to be kind of plus anything with Ottawa, with Colorado coming off the back-to-back. Not playing particularly well, obviously comeback victory in Toronto on Saturday, but I think they were pretty well outplayed in that first period, certainly, and then maybe throughout the rest of the game.
We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up, but it just happened to be sitting right there for me, Zach. Yeah. So at plus 115, I was kind of good to go. Plus 110, I was good to go. We're getting a little out of reach here. So I don't know that I want to kind of chase this steam, but I'm just not really all that surprised that it's happened, because I think that initial pricing for this game was a little bit incorrect, and apparently the market's just agreed with me. So looks like it might be a stay away here, but we'll see where it goes going forward, because honestly there probably is going to be some appetite for Colorado against what is perceived to be a pretty bad Ottawa Senators team. I have them rated a little bit more closer to league average than maybe their record certainly suggests that they are, which is why I have a little bit of value here on the Senators, even at the plus 104 it is now.
All right, well, nothing in range there. We're not going to force anything for the sake of forcing it. That's the kind of insight that you get here. It may take a little bit longer because guys are hopping in and out of the show and freezing up on us, but when they get back, they deliver. So that's what it's all about. We'll continue to move on here. A couple other games that we got to get to, and the next one being the Washington Capitals at home hosting the Anaheim Ducks here tonight. Anaheim plus 170 coming in to Washington, minus 181. Seeing a total of 6. You can find some 6.5s out there. Those would be plus money to the over on the 6.5s. Matt, I'll let you start this time. I had thrown to you last time, and then we just had the ultimate cliffhanger, wondering what was going to happen next.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on where this Anaheim-Washington game is currently priced at right now?
Pretty fair for me at this point. I was looking to get, I want to bet on the Ducks. I want to get disgusting with it.
Oh, shocker.
Right. Yeah.
These are Ducks Tuesdays now, some were saying.
That's right. It's moved across Orange County from, what are they calling it now? Bitcoin Arena or whatever it's called. Over to the Duck Pond. No, I'd love to. It's just we're not there, unfortunately, with the price here. So this is largely a pass from me. Washington getting a little bit healthier. Still no Ovechkin, I don't think, for the game tonight. And obviously played the Rangers tough. We'll talk about the Rangers here in a second. Was that was it impressive that they played the Rangers tough? Was more of a Rangers not playing all that great hockey? I think those two games kind of inform my next pick, assuming we're getting to the Kraken and the Rangers.
We'll get there.
More than it does this game. So, the tentative lean to the Ducks, but I was kind of hoping to get something closer to plus 200, because at that point it's like, why would you ever bet on the Capitals at a minus 200 something price, right? So yeah, no bet for me on this game.
All right, well, no bet for Matt, but Moretto, you had some interest in this one. Where is that gonna lie?
Yeah, so the over has taken a little bit of money here, which is great for us because I am on the under here. I think, hopefully we get a Lindgren start, but I'll still play it with Kemper, just not as strong of a play, I guess. But what this boils down to basically is just like two of the worst offensive teams in the league this whole season. If you look at season-long numbers, Caps bottom 5. Ducks are 6th worst at 5-on-5. Basically right next to each other, both pretty miserable in the power play. I think, the fact that Ovechkin might play here is probably lending to itself to a bit of more of some over money, but I'm okay with it. Like, it is what it is. There's only upside if he doesn't end up playing, or if we do get a Lindgren over Kemper. Dostal, maybe like the fact that Dostal is starting and, not Gibson, considering it's a back-to-back here with Anaheim for some considerable travel, is lending to this over money as well. But I like Dostal. He's especially been good lately. He had a good start to the year, then he kind of tapered off for a while and went through a bit of a rough period, but he's back to playing good hockey again. So yeah, I think just the fact that this could be like a Kemper Doe style matchup is just lending itself to getting some over money in here. But under for me, two teams that just really struggle to generate anything, and I like this at under 6. All these under 6 prices that are pretty widely available are good for me.
All right, so we'll grab some minus 102 there, but as you did see, if you pull up the BetStamp app, which everybody should be when they're going to place their bets in the morning, we'll grab minus 102. You can find those minus 105s all the way out kind of to minus 110, minus 112 it's getting to there as well. So make sure to check it out. Make sure to get the best price available line shop there as well, but minus 102 for us here on the under 6. Kind of surprising you would do that there, Moretto, with a no-name goaltender in net for Anaheim tonight. You know, how's that guy supposed to stop anything? No, people don't even know who he is.
He doesn't even own pads. He borrow pads every time he has to play.
They're rentals. I hear they're rentals.
Yeah. You think he'd just buy his own at this point? I would if I was. All right.
Well, the game Matt was saying he wanted to get to, just patiently waiting for us to get through that Anaheim-Washington game.
Is there a game?
The Seattle Rangers game here tonight. Rangers hosting the Kraken, minus 200 at home. Seattle coming in plus 183, total 5.5 right now. Matt, I'll give the floor to you. What are your thoughts on this game? What did you learn from the last games that are leading you to your conclusions for tonight?
Well, I don't think the Rangers are playing particularly good hockey. They're obviously a team that has had success this season without being particularly good from an expected goal share situation, etc. And maybe that's kind of come back to haunt them in the last little bit here. Battling tooth and nail with the Washington Capitals without Alexander Ovechkin is certainly not ideal. A couple of losses even before that, and the Seattle Kraken are kind of the opposite, right? They lose 3-0 to Pittsburgh yesterday. And that snapped, like an 8-game winning streak, right? The Kraken playing a lot better. The problem is, and I think some of this had to do with the fact that they lost yesterday, they were without 4 starters, 4 key members, I should say. I'm in NFL lingo right now, talking starters.
We're all starters in this league,
right? That time of year. I actually, this is an absolute diversion here, but I remember seeing a feature years ago when the Predators, the expansion Predators came into the league, and one of their players who was like, an Ian Laperriere type or whatever, he would be out in the streets and they would ask him like what he does, and he'd say, well, I play for the Predators, and they'd be like, oh yeah, are you a starter? Because they were so new to hockey, they didn't know, like in hockey, like there's not really any sort of cachet to being a starter. And he's like, well, and he's thinking to his head, he's like, I'm a third line checker or whatever. Like sometimes I go up against the first line of the other team and I start the game. So like, yeah, I was telling people I was a starter and people were eating it all up. I've never forgotten that, except for apparently a minute ago when I called these key players a starter. But the point is these 4 players. I believe it's Larson, Dunn. Don't ask me to name them all. Beniers, and there was one other that missed yesterday. They missed. Thank you. They missed yesterday. They're playing today. Seems really unlikely that we would get them all back one day later. I'm kind of hoping I get one of them back so that I can play the big plus money price here on the Kraken. And maybe, I don't know, can you go on an 8-game win streak and still be considered a disgusting brothers play? Can we just play the clip anyway? Because I don't really have anything higher priced than this today.
The disgusting brothers.
Don't call us that.
We also need to shout out Tom Wan fans for winning the Best Supporting Actor Emmy last night in honor. I think he thanked the Edgeworth Douche Show in his speech, which is very cool of him. No, wait, that was a Liverpool shout out from John Oliver. So I'm sitting there, I'm waiting. We'll see, whether we get the guys we need to make this bet. Plus 170 is certainly kind of my floor here. At plus 183, especially over at Pinnacle, that would sort of indicate to me that maybe we're not going to get any of those reinforcements. But honestly, with the way the Rangers are playing right now, I think I would still take my chances at plus 183 and then hope to get one of these guys back.
I apologize to Alber and Jeremy. Well, I apologize to Jeremy, not as much Alber, but those guys are right now hearing you take the Kraken against the Rangers. They're punching air right now, losing their minds hearing this. But it is what it is. We're going to take it. Disgusting. Moretto, are there any concerns here about what Alber's saying? Kako back means a lot more than most think it does. Do you agree here? Does this change the handicap?
It's future Montreal Canadian Capo Kako. After Kirby Doc trade, the New Hook trade, I think Kako's the one this summer that's coming. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, apparently he's worth 3% to this number. I don't know. I didn't know. Thanks for pointing that out from Alber. I can't necessarily get behind that, but the thing for me that just makes me want nothing to do with this game is the fact that Chris Driedger is starting for Seattle, and he was fantastic a few weeks ago in his only start of the year, his only start of the last 2 years. So yeah, I mean, we're like going off of 2021, 2022 numbers at this point for Driedger. No real idea what to expect from him. Kind of hard to get behind that. And like, again, I mean, he was fantastic in his last start, in his only start, but yeah, just kind of a tough one. And like, the Rangers are not playing anywhere near good enough to kind of warrant this price right now either. So I'm not interested in this game. I wanted to get involved with an under, but I just can't do it given the injuries, given the goaltending situation, just kind of a stay away. But that under 6, the minus 120 on under 6s that are out there are not terrible if you're looking for some action. At the MGM and the MGM skins. Yeah, but I got nothing really in this game.
Well, as a general rule too, though, right? When you have that uncertainty with the goaltending, like I rather being on the side of the dog with that quote unquote uncertainty. When at least from Driedger's perspective, like we've seen him play well in the past, right? Like you mentioned, and kind of going off of numbers from a couple of years ago, and having played at least one game so far this season and playing well in that game. That's more of a hint than some of these guys who keep getting starts who we just know aren't any good, right? Like you do have to, when you kind of have that fall the way that Driedger did, you do have to kind of do something to work your way back into the league. There are plenty of goaltenders, as we've seen from some of these other teams, that can kind of pop up and get a spot start, maybe rent some pads, get out on the ice. So talking about like a plus 180 type underdog, it's like, yeah, give me a guy who has proven at least something in the NHL before and has played, in his one game back, did play well in that game. Listen, this is the NHL, man. The way the goaltending works in the NHL, this guy might be the starter come playoff time if the Kraken can get themselves back into the mix. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've seen wackier deals, right? Like, Alex Leon started the playoffs for the Florida Panthers, last year.
Founder of Leon's in the furniture store, if anyone's familiar with that chain here.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, our guy Snoop Lion started the playoffs last year. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, it wouldn't be crazy if Chris Driedger just actually played. I mean, listen, we're not talking like high levels here, but good enough to win against like like I said, a team in the Rangers that might be struggling here. That honestly, we were kind of punching holes in for a while as far as could they keep up the pace that they were on in the first place, right? This wasn't a team that I don't think we were all like in love with necessarily.
Yeah.
3.22 goals saved above expected in his only start this year. That's kind of a big deal. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, I think if you're getting that from him tonight, then the Kraken are winning this game.
Yeah. Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, plus 183 on the Kraken there. Again, we'll recap all the bets at the very end of the show, so don't worry. I also have starred a couple things that I saw in the chat there, so we will get to those throughout the show. We're at the end of the show here, but before we do, guys, this is my two favorite teams in the NHL. You know that every week you come here, myself, Jeremy, right wing fan, Jordan, Mosel, everyone starts pitching these guys to you and to the other members of the Edgework show. You haven't really bought on them, but I think if you're going to take a look at this game, you might not have a choice here with the Chicago Blackhawks and the San Jose Sharks going head to head. Chicago hosting San Jose here at minus 126 at home. You see San Jose coming in plus 117. Total currently sitting at 5.5 right now. Moretto, what are your thoughts on this low total between these two and where the side's priced right now?
Do we play the Disgusting Brothers clip just for the simple fact that we're even talking about this game? Or...
I think so.
I mean, these literally
The Disgusting Brothers.
Don't call us that.
These little brothers of the NHL. it's not. We're not the disgusting brothers here. They are the disgusting brothers.
Yes, they are. So the disgusting brothers go head to head tonight. God, two of the worst offenses in the NHL. I do have a bet on this game. Yeah, we can't. I know we can't. That's really unfortunate. Maybe we do like a same game parlay of Blackhawks money line and Sharks plus 1.5 or something like that.
I mean, how is this not a draw? Like, how are we not doing a draw here? Our guy, right wing fan, which I mean, I love that he's got a nickname. This has to be overtime, right?
These guys are going to play for a tie tonight, like 30 rounds in the shootout.
They each get a point. They'd be thrilled. They get their monthly points.
Point streak is underway for these teams tonight, potentially. Yeah, I mean, Chicago's taken a decent amount of money throughout the course of the morning, especially from where they were last night. I can see why the Sharks are like a special level of abysmal. That being said, I don't want to get involved here with the Sharks, but I do have a play on the under in this game, under 5.5. Now I think the under keeps taking money too, so hopefully we can lock that in. I don't know if there's still plus 105s available. That's what I played it this morning at a 6 minus 120, but if we can get anything plus money at 5.5 is good for me, basically. Just two of the worst offenses in the NHL this year. Also, granted, two of the worst defenses. I'm not going to go off and say that these teams are sound defensive hockey teams, but the Hawks are actually trending in that direction. They offensively have been a mess because of the injuries, but defensively they've really been coming a long way. Small sample size of 7 games, but in 2024, 5th best defensive team in the NHL at 5-on-5, which is like, hey, come on. I mean, it's the Blackhawks we're talking about right now, and they've held teams like Edmonton, Dallas, Winnipeg, the Rangers, the Devils to all under 2 expected goals for at 5-on-5 in their games. So they've really come a long way. They're actually showing a decent amount here. By comparison, this Sharks offense is going to feel like an ECHL lineup. So, I think the Sharks defensively have been a mess, but the Hawks aren't the team to take advantage of that. And, I don't see the Sharks generating a whole lot here. This is just trending to be such an ugly, low events kind of hockey game where we're getting a pretty decent, like by all accounts, a pretty decent goaltending matchup in Blackwood and Mrazek probably. And you look at like the numbers these two goalies have put up this year, considering the teams in front of them, like not bad at all. So the under is taking money, and the under should be taking money. And in my opinion, it should continue to take money because I think this is like a 5.5 minus 110 both sides kind of fair price.
Well, I was looking for the bet that was suggested in the chat here. I can't seem to find it anywhere. Jeremy says, pull up one of the goalies to get a shutout. That's also just disgusting. But these guys, it looks like they're not available right now, or not widely available. So I can't even pull that up to even make a joke about it. Matt, what are your thoughts on tonight's game?
I do like the idea of just like a smorgasbord of like Esquire results. I like overtime. I somehow also like Sharks minus 2.5 and Blackhawks minus 2.5 in the thing. Yeah. I also like the shutouts. You know what I mean? Like both, either team to shut. It's just, this is a mess. But honestly, from a more sort of fundamental standpoint, like at what point do I just have to bet on, obviously the team at the longer price, right? Like plus 117 is getting to a region here where it's like, all right, like I guess I have to, right? So I'm probably going to wait and try to get out to like a plus 120. And then I realize most of that is just kind of psychological at this point, but like this is just garbage teams. Chicago's home ice is pretty negligible at this point. You mentioned, the idea of a low scoring game, totally kind of with you on that. One of these teams wins 2-1. Like I'd rather be on the side that's plus 117 way more than the one that's on like minus 130. Right. And so at a certain point, you have to pull that trigger. So you have to sort of decide for yourself what that price is going to be. So like, my numbers would sort of suggest like 110 is, because I do really think like this is just the coin flippiest of coin flips, right? But it's like, that also kind of doesn't require me by any means, but it sort of requires me to watch the game. And so like, I'm going to need probably plus 120 to get my attention, even sort of, willfully on this. Because honestly, I'll be honest with you, we're in the trust tree. I think, guys, we're in the trust tree.
We're in the trust tree.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the Sharks talk this year. They're starting these games at 10:30. This team's an absolute horror show. You know what I mean? Like, what am I? Why would I? I guess is really the question. Why would I have watched San Jose Sharks talk? Well, you know what happened yesterday? They put the game on at noon. So guess what?
Well, they kicked off MLK Day. That's an honor.
Well, that was the second paragraph of the "I Have a Dream" speech, right? Is that the Sabres and Sharks play at noon, every Monday from now until the rest of the time, or at least that's what Pat McAfee, I think, says. So I watched San Jose Sharks hockey yesterday. They're fine. I said it. Okay, I did. And my God, it's honestly just embarrassing. They can't even connect on passes, stuff that you're like, oh, this guy's going to get a shot on goal. And it's like, he just doesn't. And you're just like, this team's horrendous. They made Buffalo look good, and Buffalo is just an abject disaster. So, I say that all that to say, let's bet on the Sharks today. Sharks are nothing for me, but having watched the Sharks play in true Martin Luther King fashion, I think it's probably best that we steer clear of this hockey game.
Yeah, I think the one thing I'll say too is when you have probably this lower scoring game, I still trust the Sharks. Granted, you said it, can't string a pass together apparently, but I still trust them to be able to produce something offensively, whereas the Blackhawks right now, you just have no idea where goals are going to come from.
Yeah, totally.
I've done everything I can to avoid keeping us away from any opportunity of getting canceled, and Matt was just like, let's see how close we can get here on this one.
Flying a little close to the sun. I don't know if McAfee can't get canceled. I think
we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. All right, so there you go. We grabbed the under 5.5 plus money there. I see a question here. Right wing fan bringing up from one of the previous games, the Washington game there. Kemper and net still okay with the under, Moretto. We'll just circle back to that fine.
I was hoping for the. I liked it with assuming Kemper versus Dostal and Ovi in, so there was only upside there. Naturally, we're probably going to get none of that upside because Ovi's going to play too. But yeah, I still do like it.
I have a question for you guys. Mike says this here. Some fun goals in that ECHL All-Star game last night. Did you guys watch that at all? Did you see any of the highlights of it? That is, I would assume you didn't watch.
I assumed he was referencing the Sabre Sharks game. To be honest, so
no. If you haven't, I'll just say actually go see check the highlights of the goals that were scored in that game. There were some really cool goals and some pretty cool talent that was on display. That was slow-mo NHL All-Star Game skills competition shootouts where they take forever to do some move. It was on the fly, on a breakaway, in a game. Guys picking the puck up on their backhand, putting it in top shelf. It was on the move. They were actually pretty cool. I'll give credit to that. Mike brought up a good point there. It is actually something that was pretty fun to watch and was kind of why can't guys do this in the NHL All-Star Game? That would make it exciting if that stuff was happening on a regular basis. But shout out to the ECHL All-Star Game that took place. Couple more games to get to here tonight, and let's go to the other New York game here tonight. On the road here against the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg minus 177. The Islanders coming in plus 165. You see a total at Pinnacle there of 6 plus money on the over. You can see some 5.5s on some other books out there right now. Matt, what are your thoughts on where this side and the total is currently at between the Islanders and the Jets?
Yeah, I was completely content with pretending this game didn't exist, and with the open of the Islanders at plus 145. Now it's plus 165, and so we have found ourselves in range here for a potential Islanders bet. Speaking of games I did not watch, was it Philadelphia and Winnipeg the other day with a 2-0 Philadelphia shutout? Listen, if Philadelphia can do it, the Islanders can do it. And the Winnipeg Jets here, without Scheifele, it doesn't look like. Obviously still without Kyle Connor. We're getting to a price where it's disgusting brother adjacent. But we're getting to a point here where I think the Islanders have to be a play tonight. After having get absolutely drilled by the Wild, and there might be a bit of a chain of screaming situation here when it comes to the Islanders here, having Minnesota got absolutely waylaid on Saturday, They were embarrassed. They went and then embarrassed the Islanders yesterday. I think it was 6-0 on Saturday, 5-0 last night. Now the Islanders taking that embarrassment. And as you know, right, the main thing that motivates professional athletes here is humiliation. Getting humiliated yesterday, getting blown out yesterday is only going to help them here. I think that takes away from the element of like, oh, they're on a back-to-back, et cetera, right? You're going to have a little bit more attention to what you're doing here tonight. And like I said, the Jets, a little bit shorthanded here. Still obviously a super deep team. Second now, I believe, overall in the NHL, to a certain team that has a jersey, peering out of my closet. So yeah, I mean, honestly, at plus 145, I didn't really care. Plus 165 is certainly a target price for me here on the Islanders.
Well, Matt, also, by the way, just so you know, that whole like handicap thing about the humility and stuff like that.
Oh.
I can say from experience, it only applies to certain teams.
Just
maybe
wait,
not
buddy.
One near where we live. I don't think that's a real thing that happens here. So I don't know. Also, quickly there, I see Jordan saying, and I just checked this. It looks like this is the case. Kyle Connor coming back. Does this change anything for you at all before we lock this in or before we move on?
Is this the reason that the line shot up? Sort of $20 here, right? Like, and if it is, like, I'm gonna say that's too much of an adjustment just because Kyle Connor is back and is in what would be his first game.
The market definitely reacted to because the Connor news came out like around an hour-ish ago. The market definitely reacted to that. I think that's why they got kind of bet up to where they did.
I was in a meeting before we were on the show here. So when I went into that meeting, it was like plus 145. When I left that meeting, it was plus 165. So that would make some sense. And I think that's just an overreaction. And yeah, I mean, I think, the Islanders are that team that's sort of capable of these winning games at these prices, is, being considered an underdog and, obviously coming up with a victory. So yeah, this is the type of underdog I like to play, especially off that, like I said, embarrassing loss last night.
Well, Moretto, where are you at with your Islanders against the Jets tonight?
So the thing I'll say with this Connor news is that, like, he was supposed to be out 6 to 8 weeks, and this will be 4 weeks that he's been out. Right. In his absence, he's a fantastic player. I'm not taking anything away from him, but in his absence, the Jets have been humming. Oftentimes, you see a guy come back, takes a little while to get back up to game speed, especially when he's supposed to be out as long as he was, and he's, beaten that timeline by 2 weeks. I mean, that's like by 33% when you consider how long he was supposed to be out. So like maybe some rust there. And also like you pull a guy like that back into the lineup and like the way they've been playing, maybe, it doesn't exactly help them. It disrupts their flow a little bit. And again, that's all very narrative-y, but just like kind of goes into maybe why you want to take a flyer on the Islanders. I have not taken a flyer on the Islanders. Kind of feels like the wheels are coming off a little bit for them. That end of that Predators game was a little bit wonky where the whole team just left the bench before the game even ended. I don't know. It was a little bit strange. And obviously last night was like, how do they respond to that? Well, clearly not well. So hopefully, hopefully they can respond a little bit better tonight. I'm interested also to see who starts in net for them, because obviously with Varlamov on IR, Sorokin has started about 100 games in a row, and this is a back-to-back. You think maybe we're going to get someone by the name of Kenneth Appleby. I don't know who he is.
That's not a real person.
Yeah, I concur. But Sir Appleby actually came in the third period last night to relieve Sorokin, give him a little bit of a rest, maybe lending itself to the fact that they're going to go with Sorokin once again. So I don't know. I'm curious to see who starts here. If we do get a Sorokin confirmation, I am good with this under 6. Any of these prices, short of minus 120 or better, or these under 5.5, plus 115, plus 110 that are out there. Any of those are good if we get Sorokin and Hellebuck. Again, I don't know if we're going to get Sorokin. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here, so we'll wait and see. But I think the fact that they did start Appleby in the third period last night maybe suggests that they are planning on going back to Sorokin once again, which is wild because he literally, if you look at their like start log, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This will be his 12th start in a row. So
nice.
Guy hasn't gotten a break, just a Russian workhorse. So we'll
got
see.
that dog in him. He's built for this.
Yeah, he's got that dog in him.
I can't tell you how disappointed I am in myself right now. I can't for the life of me come up with a baby back rib joke for
About Kenny.
or is that Chili's? Sorry, it's all the same.
Chili's baby back ribs. Yeah, so old Kenny Appleby is 5-5 in the AHL this year, an .897 save percentage.
Yeah, sub 900
Not
save
great.
percentage.
That's not what we want.
Yeah.
No.
No, not necessarily.
He also, pretty sure he allowed a couple of goals yesterday in relief in the third. He came in for the third period and allowed 2 goals. Yeah, he allowed 2 goals on, I don't know how many shots here, but yeah, I don't know. Just, I mean, there's a non-zero chance he's actually pretty terrible. So
just an inspirational from Moretto.
There might be a bit of a gap between Sorokin and him, you know.
All right.
Moretto with a Braveheartian We're just bringing the soldiers into battle.
This is the game everyone's been waiting for. Everyone's getting ready to hear how we're going to break this one down, what sides we're going to be taking. Claudio was waiting from the very jump of the show. Love this show. Thank you, Claudio. Can't wait for the Edmonton versus Toronto breakdown today. Well, wait no longer. Let's get to that. The Oilers hosting the Maple Leafs here tonight. Edmonton -147, Toronto coming in +135. We see a total out there at 7 right now on books like Pinnacle. Some very, very heavily juiced over 6.5s coming in on some of these other books that appears that up on PetStamp here. -158, -165 is available right now. Moretto, what are your thoughts on this Leafs-Oilers game outside of the fact that you hope that the Leafs get absolutely thumped here tonight?
Thumped. I was talking to my good friend Michael Lieboff the other day, noted Islanders faithful, and we were saying if we could just get the Leafs to be 1-2-1 on this West Coast swing, heading into that home and home with the Jets before the All-Star break, could be looking at a real slide that maybe sends panic alarms off. Maybe we get some booze on home ice in the All-Star game. Anyways, dare to dream, right? So
we're already getting booze on home ice, by the way. So check that box.
He wants All-Star booze.
I want All-Star game booze. I want those booze.
I mean, to get booze in the All-Star game with that level of just absolute disinterest from the corporate crowd in All-Star weekend, that's the dream. That's the
dream.
Third paragraph of the I Have a Dream.
That's the third paragraph of the speech. Yeah. That's the first paragraph of my speech, though. So, but I do want to look. I mean, this total, I don't know if it's going to keep taking money to the over, and I haven't got in yet, but I very much am going to at one point. I just want to see where the kind of peak of the market is on this total. I like the under. I think that this is wild that we're getting this kind of price. I mean, the number does an extreme disservice to what these two teams have done defensively of late. I understand you've got your McDavids, your Draisaitl's, your Hymans, your Matthews, Marner, Nylander, whatever. They have a ton of offensive game breakers playing tonight in this game, and you'd expect some sort of run and gun, Oilers Leafs, put on a show, 6-5 type of game. But defensively, the Leafs are playing a lot better. And the Oilers are playing fantastic defensively. They're not even letting teams play with the puck. Oilers last top 5 over the last month defensively. Leafs top 10. Martin Jones has been playing really well. Stuart Skinner's been playing really well. Normally when you see a 7, not even heavily juiced to the under, you're getting 2 very good offenses, 2 very bad defenses, and a suspect goaltending matchup. We have one of those 3 boxes ticked here. I can't possibly get behind it over. I will be on the under. I'm fine to lock it in at -111 there at Penny. That being said, if you want to wait a little bit, I'm good with those under 7 -120s too. So if you want to wait a little bit and see if you can get an even better price at Penny, that's fine for the sake of the show. I think let's just lock it in so that we have this track. But yeah, I don't think if you end up missing out on the 111 and having to settle for a 115, that's fine. But I think it's worth waiting just to see if there's even more upside in this price. Because I think the over is just getting blindly bet and just hammered just based on the reputation of these two teams. But I think we're significantly underestimating what these two teams are capable of defensively, and how this goaltending matchup's actually not nearly as bad as as the total is suggesting too. So to ask for more than 7 goals is a lot in an NHL game when you have two pretty competent teams. So the under for me.
Under 7 -111 will lock in. Matt, what are your thoughts on this game?
I feel like I have a responsibility on this show. And when I say the show, I mean specifically the Tuesday show. Beyond maybe some of the, comic relief, is to sort of hold you to tethered to like the planet in a lot of ways, right? Moretto goes off. He's got, 18 to 27, teams that he loves, and then 3 teams he hates more than life itself.
Yeah, it's very accurate.
Like, hey, let's just reel him in, right? Like he's flying the kite. You're like, I can't even see the kite anymore. Like it's in the clouds. Like should we be worried about planes? Like what the hell? And then Zach, it's like he's, your consummate Leafs fan. He's got the, brand new hat. Like it's not stopping him from shopping from hats here, people. Right?
Christmas gift. I'm not wasting my money on that.
Good point, right? He's running down the stairs to see what's under the tree, and guess what? It's a brand new Toronto Maple Leafs hat
and Austin Matthews jersey.
Obviously, because you're absolutely not too old to be wearing a jersey. Don't even let anybody tell you that, Zach.
What am I going to wear when I go play pond hockey, Matt?
Zach gets too high, he gets too low, and it's like we're reeling him in, we're pulling him out of the water, we're reeling him out of the clouds, like the whole thing. So I say this as like an objective, as sort of objective as possible, sort of third party in all of this. It's like, have we not seen this a million times before? The Leafs win this game. They win this game all of the time. It is like what the Leafs do. The last time we discussed the Leafs in this situation with Zach here, they had no chance of beating the Rangers, the vaunted Rangers. After, what was the 8th of 11, I think, spirals that the Leafs have sent their fans down this season.
Yeah, that was a reverse jinx from Zach. Professional move by him.
I think it was spiral number 8. We're on number 11. They do this to them, man. They're the team that can get the 3-0 lead against Colorado and then blow that and then like basically no-show it and lose at home to Detroit the next night. Like that's what they do. And then they go on the road and they take out this Oilers team that has won a bunch of games in a row. And if you're saying like, wow, man, this Oilers team, like this is incredible, et cetera, I gotta read you the matchups post Christmas for the Oilers during this stretch. We got Sharks. We got a shootout win over the Kings. Okay. All right. Ducks, Flyers, Senators, Blackhawks, Red Wings, Canadians.
Juggernaut Canadians and our Kings. You said the Kings, it's our Kings. But anyway, it's just minor things here.
The artistes formerly known as our Kings, right? Like they're on probation right now. Working their way back. Again, nice win yesterday. This is a step up in weight class since, honestly, before Christmas. And before Christmas...
Is it?
But that's the thing, Zach. Right now, it doesn't feel like it is. In a week from now, when the spiral reverses and you're up in the clouds and we're worried about passing airplanes, then you're going to be like, well, they're just the best team like I've ever seen, and we're thinking Stanley Cup, et cetera, et cetera. And I know it seems so far away, but honestly, it's probably literally one night away as the Leafs go in and beat the Oilers here tonight. And all of a sudden, like the hat is, maybe you turn the hat backwards, you get a little loose, you get a little super fun with it. Maybe go out to have a casual beverage with some friends. Maybe you got that old sweatshirt from years gone by. You dust that one off. You're like, you know what? This reminds me of better days. Like this is the absolute leafiest spot you can possibly have. The value isn't necessarily great. Like in theory, I'm supposed to need like better than plus 150 to go up against the vaunted
That's what you want to hear.
But like, it's a fair price though. Like in fairness, like it is a fair price.
Yeah,
like my numbers make this like 140 on either side, right? So like plus 140 minus 140 without the juice. So like it's a fair price. It's certainly not like a valuable bet on the Oilers by any stretch, right? So it's more just like, okay, am I just going to let the absolute like spot of all Leafs spots here, the like, set your watch to its spot on the Leafs pass by, or am I going to bet it at plus 135 here it's pretty close to plus 150. Am I going to bet it at plus 135? Yes, I am going to bet it on at plus 135, and we're going to have to reel you in because, listen, the Leafs will probably go sweep this series. Moretto and Lieboff, they're going to include me as they do every springtime They only join me in the spring to lament or celebrate Leafs playoff losses. I don't know why I get included in all of that. I just get random messages from Leboff on April 21st saying I want to die, and then I look up and the Leafs are up 2-1 in the second period in game 2.
This is all very factual stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, luckily my guy leaves me out of it for the regular season, ups and downs or whatever. But yeah, anyway, like this is just the most Leaf like spot victory situation. Oilers getting, they're not even getting like. I shouldn't say they're not getting too much credit. I mean, they are literally, by my market rating evaluation, like the number 1 rated team right now in the entire NHL.
In like years, arguably, too, with the numbers they're putting up.
Yeah, I mean, they are.
Which
right
just lends
there.
itself even more to a Leafs win tonight. You're right, though, for sure.
Yeah, like it's just the Leafiest thing. It's just, I don't know any other way to sort of put it here.
And I'll also be watching this game. You have to factor this in. This ups the Leafs about 3% because I'm going to be watching this game. I have a hockey game tonight at 7:15, which means my game ends by 8:15. Couple beers and a shower. Up at the bar by 9. Right when this game starts, I'll be surrounded by Leafs fans, which means the Leafs are winning because it's max pain for me at that point. So, that ups the Leafs about 3% on their win probability right there, too.
That's the most Canadian thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Right
there. All right, Leafs money line plus 135. I'm not going to fight against it. Matt, I think you're probably right. It's also like my worst nightmare here tonight. I'm not going to get into it. I did it the other day. Yes, 100%. This is the worst nightmare. This is a. I can't do it again. We talked about it yesterday on the show. I had a whole rant about it yesterday. This is just not a great team. It's a really good team. It's not a great team. They're gonna keep doing these little spirals, and then they come back, and then they'll beat Edmonton tonight, and then tomorrow morning the news is, and the fans are all, well, they beat the Oilers, where they're fine, and it's like, well. They stunk like shit for 3 games leading into this one, and then they were good against San Jose twice in Anaheim. And how can we pretend that this team is that good? They're a team that can beat these top teams. They're a team that can lose to the worst teams, but they're just ultimately not going to get it done in the playoffs. But let's just win against Edmonton on a Tuesday night in January and pretend like all's okay.
Put that banner up. Edmonton in January. Boom. Raise it up. Right next to... Neil Young and Taylor Swift or Madonna? Who's up there these days?
That's in LA. Yes, Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Not to kick you while you're down, but is this? Are you going to be locking in a Matthew Knies anytime goal here? A fourth line? Are we getting fourth line prices on him right now, or are we not? Are we not getting that anymore?
I don't know. I'm sitting so far away from these.
Zach, listen, you mentioned.
I don't know. Sheldon Keefe is going to announce tonight that Bobby McMahon is centering the first line. Like, I got no idea what's going to happen. I'm staying so far away from any of this shit right now.
It's a spark plug. Listen, Zach, yes, they're not a great team. Like, a great team would, like, what's a great team? I don't know. Like, a team that would go on, like, their longest road trip of the year, 7 games, and get 11 out of 14 points on that road trip. Like, that's a great team. Like, I get it. Maybe the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't that team. And, like the idea that a team would go on a 7-game road trip and get 11 of those 14 points, like that's something, right? Like a win over the Oilers in January, as good as the Oilers have been playing here, that's not, that's not on the same level. So I don't think you need to worry about anybody considering the Leafs a great team.
Also,
that was for so money, by the way. That was for so money.
Yes, I knew what was going on there. To answer this, right wing fan 23 saying Leafs fans are confusing. Here's why I want them to lose, and it's for the exact opposite reason that Moretto wants them to win tonight, is because Moretto and Leboff both know deep down a win here tonight makes this organization, makes the GM, makes the president all have a takeaway of everything's all right. We beat the Oilers. Status quo. And like I said, like you agreed to, Matt, status is a playoff appearance and a playoff exit. One of the great days of the year.
Arguably the best
for you, sure. I want the loss so that you're like, oh wow, we've now lost 4 in a row. You lost to the Oilers, you lost to the Avalanche. maybe something needs to change. And then even if it works or it doesn't, you tried. That's the point, Moretto. I want something to change. I need something to change.
You need like 14 straight losses to get a change.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Can we have this conversation in May? Like, we're having the conversation right now.
No, but that's the point, Matt. I don't want to have the conversation in May. I want to have the conversation before the playoff boot comes, because then we're just going to run it back, and then I'm going to have to watch Moretto texting me all happy, run it back, and I'm going to be hitting my head against the wall. Like,
Leeboss messages are going to change from "I want to die" to "This is the greatest day of my life."
Yeah, and unfortunately, I get included in them now, and I'm just like, I get it, but like, fuck me, like, why?
You can tell me all you want about like the rite of spring and like leaves, blooming and flowers blooming and whatnot, but like the true sign of spring is Leeboff going from "I want to die" to "This is the greatest day of the year every year." Like, love it. Zach, like, fine. Like, if I can quit the Kings on Tuesdays, then I also have enough power, even though I have no power on the show. I have enough power to ban you from having the same conversation when the Leafs get ousted in May. But we're gonna do it anyway, so I already know that's.
We're 100% gonna do it anyways. Like, what? Yeah. What are we fooling ourselves? There's gonna be 7 games in the first round. They're gonna have a lead in the third period against like Florida this time, just to start a new enemy, because we did the whole stupid "I want Florida" thing last year, which by the way was taken out of context. But like, I don't even want to get into that.
To my t-shirt, it's not.
But they did the whole "we want Florida" shit. Then you go on, start that enemy. Now you're gonna go and play them in the first round this year. That's how it's lining up to be. And everyone's like, "Ooh, Florida!" I'm seeing these idiots online, Leafs fans, being like, "Oh, Florida lost games to some of these bad teams." Like, it's a different fucking team. That's a different situation. They're a much better team. They're much better prepared. They got a much better coach. Everything about them is a whole lot better. So shut up about them losing to these bad teams. We're gonna go in. We're gonna go 7 games. Probably have a 3-1 series lead too. Blow that. Go into game 7. Be in the third period 4-1, just to relive all the old demons, and then lose that one. And then you know what's gonna happen? Well, you were so close. Why would we change anything? Let's try again next year. Run it back.
Zach,
we enter the summer of Mitch Marner, which is gonna be
for
the
God's
most
sakes.
entertaining summer of my life, where this guy is trying to get $13 million after the Nylander deal, and I, for one, can't wait. I can't wait. I hope he has 8 points in 7 playoff games in the first round, and they lose, and Mitch has a lot to hang his hat on.
Are we sure the Leafs make the playoffs? Like, this is honestly kind of an inspirational like time for Zach right now, because I'm old enough to remember a time where the Leafs just begged to get into the playoffs. Now Zach here is a point out of missing the playoffs here, maybe 2. What am I looking at here with the Penguins on a bit of a run here? Alex's Penguins, by the way, maybe one of the 4 times
that's one of the hates that falls under the hate category.
Yeah.
It's one of the 4 teams that he doesn't like 2 points, back of the Leafs, or Leafs at least being 2 points ahead of them. Like, this is great, Zach. You're this close to missing the playoffs altogether, and you've already chalked them up for making the playoffs. Like, this is a level of confidence that, like, we don't see from Toronto Maple Leafs fans very often. Like, I'm really impressed that you're just willing to, like, fight off all these demons and just, like, decide that they're going to be in the playoffs. Like, I'm really proud of you, man.
You've come a long way. You have come a long way.
The whole group of you. You just,
the whole lot of you.
A whole lot of you. Inspirational stuff here. Like, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. We got this, is what I think I'm hearing from Zach. Like, you were good. You even said, like, not even a wild card. You're signed up for a Florida Panthers series. The Florida Panthers are going to be at least in the 2 seed. This is great. A new hat. Just rejuvenated fandom. It's just feels good.
Oh man, good show today, guys.
What the hell? What an end to the show. There's 2 games and we didn't cover. We'll just briefly touch over those here in case you guys have thoughts on where these numbers are at.
That's how far out.
Yeah, the biggest.
Matt, you.
I forgot they played. I was like, so dead. They're so dead to me. It's not even funny. Kings plus 120. Let's do it. Who cares? We're back. Let's go.
Kings plus 120 on the road here against the Stars.
Yeah,
Dallas
no,
minus
Haston?
132. A total of 6. Matt, what are your thoughts? Are you back in on the Kings here? For real?
Let's go. I'm back. Back from the dead. Undertaker meme. Whatever you want.
He's just straight firing now after that. He threw some heat. Now he's just straight firing.
I know. No. Listen, man, the Canucks are somehow like 1 billion points ahead of the Golden Knights, which is like, again, young Matt Russell from a year that I'm not even comfortable saying is like, coming from deep inside of me in my soul here, and it's rejuvenated my faith in the Kings here. Yeah, should be Kings. Yeah, get Jeremy up here. Wrong. Hashtag wrong team favored. Should be Kings minus 210. What do you think of that, everybody? No, honestly, it's actually
what happened to the end of the show?
It actually is a really fair. I'm just putting off writing my hockey article today because I don't want to do it. Yeah, honestly, it's a fair price, but what the hell, man? Let's take the Kings. They're big.
All right, why not? I mean, why not? Kings plus 120. Moretto, what are your thoughts on your Dallas Stars against our LA Kings?
Right with long shot touchdown money from the weekend. I don't even know what to do with myself. Okay, so
Man.
Calvin Austin scoring touchdowns. Like, let's live a little, people.
God. Moretto, thoughts on the game?
I'm not even gonna attempt to follow that up. That's just I'm not no bet in this game, and that's basically
go to the next one.
He wants Coyotes Flames. He wants a clear out. He wants a clear out for Coyotes Flames right now.
Okay, Coyotes Flames.
Player props here.
Hold up. Watch him cook.
Mrazek shutout. Coyotes plus 151. Flames minus 164. We see a total right now 6 on Pinnacle, 6.5 elsewhere. You can find some plus money on those. Moretto, we'll go to you first because I got no idea what Matt's going to bring to this one. Thoughts on this game?
That's on side and total here.
All right. Nope. Forgot this was a game.
Thoughts on this game here?
I would look towards an over just based on these two teams. I think both these two teams profile as over teams, and I was on the over when they played this weekend, I believe. They just played recently because I remember just betting Coyotes Flames over. But I'm not gonna do it again here. This is an Ingram versus Markstrom matchup that's enough to kind of keep me off, but it'll be over or nothing for me here. But I'm going with nothing.
All right. Well, that'll do it for all the games today. We did get through all of them here. And as for best bets for tonight, let's take a little recap. If you do want to follow these yourself, you want to see how we do throughout the course of the season, you want to see how we do on a week-to-week basis, daily basis, whatever it is, you can find that over in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. So make sure to check that out. Download the app today. Make sure to follow us in there as well. But for today's picks, we're going full unit on everything, guys, and we are firing tonight. We're going to go first and foremost to the Ducks Capitals game. We're taking the under 6 minus 102 there. Then we're going to go to the Kraken Rangers and taking Seattle money line plus 183. Throwing darts with the Kings. Stars game, we're going to take the LA Kings money line plus 120. Taking the Islanders money line plus 165 against the Winnipeg Jets. In San Jose, Chicago, we're taking the under 5.5 plus 100 there. And then in Toronto, Edmonton, we're going to take the Leafs money line plus 135 and the under 7 minus 111. So lots of best bets for tonight.
Bet that now, apparently, because I said to potentially wait on that 111 if you wanted to. And I did wait on that a little bit. And then I ended up having to jump in at 115, and now we're up to minus 120. So get in on that probably now. My advice of waiting was probably one of the worst things I've said on the show, I guess. So there you go. My bad.
I take a little offense.
There's a lot that's being said on this show, Moretto. I don't know if you can just outright declare that as being the worst that title. Said.
Is that the fourth paragraph of the? No, never mind.
All right, well, that'll do it for today's show. After this, I'm going to go and read the brand new released article from Jonas Siegel. Grades for the Maple Leafs. This should put me in such a good mood, especially after the conversation we just had. And guys, don't worry, it does include grades for Tree Living, Sheldon Keefe, and Ryan Reeves. Perfect. That's
probably
what I was looking for.
Dubas nuggets in there. If you can fire those over for me, I would really appreciate
A+ for him. A+ for him, truthfully.
Yeah.
All right, well, that'll do it for today's show. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. Matt, Alex, thank you guys so much for taking time to do this as always, despite how the show ended. Still, regardless, I do appreciate you taking the time. Well, it started, yeah.
And kind of settled in the middle there.
But thanks to everyone who came out and watched today. We do appreciate the support as always. If you're watching back after, if you're watching live and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're about 40 away from 2,000. We're trying to get those numbers up, so hit that subscribe button. We got more content coming here. You'll see it popping up on the show, so you're also going to want to turn on notifications so you get notified either when we go live, when videos drop, or if some other stuff starts to happen on this channel. But hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on today's stream. We do appreciate the support. If you're listening on podcast, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. We'll see everyone back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Enjoy the games tonight. Good luck on your bets.